Conqueror's Haki is one of the coolest powers in One Piece, and it's also one of the rarest, as only one in several million people in the entire world possess it. But have you ever wondered which character possesses the strongest Conqueror's Haki? Well, you're about to find out, because I'm going to rank every single user from the weakest to the strongest, ranging from the C tier all the way up to God tier. Starting off with Fire Fist Ace. Now, although Ace is confirmed to possess Conqueror's Haki, he seems to be the only one on this list who didn't really get to fully master it. Ace awakened his Conqueror's Haki at just 10 years old, when he and Luffy were being attacked by the Blue Jam pirates. Ace unleashed a blast of Conqueror's Haki, knocking out all of Blue Jam's crew, but it wasn't strong enough to take down Blue Jam himself, who at the time only had a bounty of 14 million berries. That was the only really recorded time Ace ever used his Conqueror's Haki. He probably went his whole life without knowing he possessed it or what Conqueror's Haki truly was, and because of that, Ace seems to be the weakest Conqueror's Haki user in the show, so I'm going to go ahead and place him in C tier. Up next is Captain Eustace Kid. Captain Kid is a strong pirate who directly rivals Luffy. In fact, way back in Sabaody, he even had a higher bounty than Luffy and the rest of the supernovas. Oda confirmed Kid to possess Conqueror's Haki back in the land of Wano, but much like Ace, he really didn't use it at all. Now, this could just be due to the fact that he never had a trainer, so he probably didn't really know what it even was. But even without it, Kid is hella strong. He and Law both teamed up and took down one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea, and without using Conqueror's Haki, which if you ask me is one insane feat. Maybe in the future Kid could come back, fully mastering his Conqueror's Haki. We never really know what Oda is planning, but for now I'm going to go ahead and place him in B tier. Next up is Sen Goku. Now, Sen Goku is the former fleet admiral and the leader of the Marines, and is capable of using all 3 types of Haki, but we really don't know too much about his abilities. The only thing we know is that he has been confirmed to possess Conqueror's Haki by Oda himself, but he does use Conqueror's Haki in the One Piece game Burning Blood. That's not directly canon to the main storyline, so we can't really count it. It's not entirely possible that he won't come back later on in the story and show us his full powers, but back in the War of the Best, he did manage to stop Blackbeard without using Conqueror's Haki, just his Devil Fruit, which if you ask me is one hell of a feat. With what limited information we know of Sen Goku, I feel like he deserves his place in the D tier. Coming up next, we have Rayleigh, the right-hand man of the King of the Pirates. To set sail with the King of the Pirates, you need to be strong, and to be his right-hand man, you need to be even stronger. And oh boy, is Rayleigh fit for that job. Not only does Rayleigh possess all 3 types of Haki, but he also possesses advanced types of every single one, which is kinda expected, after all he is the Dark King. Rayleigh possesses such knowledge and mastery over his Haki that he's capable of being a teacher, which is exactly what he did with Luffy, as he taught Luffy how to use and control all 3 types of Haki. Rayleigh has shown off some very impressive feats using his Haki, like when he proceeded to knock out the entire audience back in the Fishman Island arc. In fact, Rayleigh's Haki is so potent, it was stated that if Rayleigh was at Fishman Island at the time, he could knock out all 100,000 fishmen as opposed to Luffy's 50,000 knockouts, which is just insane. And just for that reason alone, I'm going to go up and place him in A tier. Up next is Don Chinzhou. Now, Don is a character we met all the way back in Dressrosa. He was once the leader of the Happo Navy, and as a Conqueror's Haki user, he was very strong. In fact, during his time as a pirate, he faced off against Monkey D. GARP, who is considered to be the strongest Navy officer of all time. But unfortunately, he could not overcome the tremendous strength of the Vice Admiral, and was defeated so badly that he left with his head caved in. And after this, he grew tremendous resentment for not only GARP, but his entire bloodline, as many years later he seeked out Luffy, wanting to get revenge against GARP by destroying his grandson. And so he and Luffy clashed in a mighty contest of Conqueror's Haki, but again he just couldn't manage to overcome the power of a man marked with the name of D, and was once again defeated. And much like before, he was hit so hard his head was caved in, but somehow it managed to restore itself on impact, reverting back to its previous shape, which is quite ironic if you ask me. Don Chinzhou definitely deserves his place in the B tier. Up next is Roronoa Zoro. Zoro is the right-hand man of Monkey D. Luffy and is one of the main characters in the show. Zoro possesses not only amazing strength, but amazing Haki as well. You could argue that Zoro unlocked Haki before Haki was even a thing, all the way back in Alabasta, but the details of that whole situation are a bit too unclear. But what we do know is that Zoro does indeed possess the color of the Supreme King. Zoro used his Conqueror's Haki to not only fight and defeat Kaido's right-hand man King in one of the most insane battles ever, but he also used it to fight Kaido himself and even wounded him. But there is one problem. Zoro seems to not fully understand his Conqueror's Haki or how to really use it, as when he fought King he kept losing his Haki to his own sword, but when Zoro managed to pull it together, he coated all three of his swords in what seemed like advanced Conqueror's Haki, making him one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put Zoro in D tier. Monkey D. Luffy, the main character of the entire show. Now Luffy possesses all three types of Haki, and not just that, but he possesses advanced types of every single one of them. He unlocked Future Sight fighting Katakuri, learnt advanced armament Haki or Rio in the land of Wano, and learnt advanced Conqueror's Haki fighting Kaido himself. So Luffy's strength is quite frankly off the charts, and when he pairs his Haki with his strength and arguably the most powerful devil fruit in the entire show, he takes the expression strong to a completely new level. Luffy first unlocked Conqueror's Haki when he stopped Duval all the way back in Sabaody. He then used it again in Amazon Lily where he knocked out the entire crowd, and then used it again in Marineford where he shocked the entire world. And then when Luffy underwent training with Rayleigh, he gained full mastery over his power, and now he can use it freely. He even managed to knock out 50,000 Fishman like it was nothing. So yeah, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki is not to be underestimated, even splitting the skies with Kaido, and then going on to even defeat him using Bajarang Gun, which is the most powerful attack we have seen so far in the show. Without a doubt, Luffy deserves his place in A tier. The King of the Pirates, Gol D. Roger. Roger very well may be the strongest pirate we've seen so far. Not only did he possess immense mastery over the color of the Supreme King, but he also went on to become the King of the Pirates. Roger clashed with both Monkey D. GARP and Whitebeard amongst the seas, and those two also possessed insane mastery over Conqueror's Haki, and neither of them could manage to bring him down. Roger also possessed advanced types of both armament and observation Haki, and was able to infuse his attacks with his Conqueror's Haki, managing to one-shot Kozuki Odin, who at the time also possessed mastery over his Conqueror's Haki, which is quite a feat. Furthermore, Roger could infuse Conqueror's Haki into his sword, allowing him to attack his opponents without making physical contact. Without a doubt in my mind, Roger deserves his place in God tier. Up next is Katakuri. Katakuri is a character we met back on Whole Cake Island, and he is the right-hand man of Big Mom. Katakuri is freakishly strong, as until he met Luffy, he had never lost a fight in his entire life, and when you take a look at his Haki, you can kinda understand why. Not only does he casually possess all three types of Haki, but he's trained his observation Haki so much that he can see short glimpses into the future, giving him the ability to absolutely dog walk anyone who doesn't have the same ability. Along with his observation Haki, Katakuri seems to have a great understanding of Conqueror's Haki as well, and how to use it, as when he fought Luffy in the Mirror Realm, both of them flexed their Conqueror's Haki, resulting in a tremendous clash that knocked out everyone around them. I'm gonna go ahead and place Katakuri in the D tier. Next up is Kaido, King of the Beasts and one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea. Kaido is strong, maybe even too strong, as his epithet is quite literally the strongest creature in the world. Kaido possesses tremendous strength, coming from a race called the Oni, which originates all the way back to the Giants, and with his frankly just overpowered Zoan type devil fruit, which lets him turn into a literal fire-breathing dragon, Kaido is certainly not to be messed with. And when Kaido mixes all of that with his Conqueror's Haki, and both observation and armament Haki, Kaido truly becomes like almost unkillable. In fact, he wasn't even able to kill himself, and believe me, he definitely tried to. Kaido possesses the ability to not only freely use and control his Conqueror's Haki, but he has even unlocked advanced Conqueror's Haki, so he can infuse his Conqueror's Haki into not only himself, but his weapon as well, further bolstering his attack power. Not only did Kaido manage to split the heavens with his clash with Big Mom, but he also also followed suit with Luffy only days later. Kaido most definitely deserves his place in the A tier. Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. Whitebeard was the direct rival to the king of the pirates himself, and was the closest to becoming the pirate king after Roger's death. Whitebeard and Roger often fought amongst the seas back before Roger became the king of the pirates, and their fights were not just any ordinary fights, as when they clashed, not only did Whitebeard and Roger split the heavens, but they almost decimated an entire island, and not even Odin, who at the time possessed Conqueror's Haki himself, couldn't even resist the impact of their clash. Whitebeard of course used to possess all three types of advanced Haki, but as time went on, and as he got older, Whitebeard lost a lot of his strength. In fact, during the War of the Best, he didn't even have the strength or health to use Haki, but he still managed to defeat all three admirals, which might just be the single strongest feat in all of One Piece. Without a doubt, Whitebeard deserves his place in God tier. Next up is Yamato. Yamato is a character we met in the land of Wano, and she is the daughter of the king of the beasts himself. At 8 years old, Yamato idolized the legendary samurai Odin, and ever since then, she has dedicated her life to becoming Odin. And if you want to fill the shoes of Odin, you're going to need to have some insane Haki. And luckily for Yamato, she is confirmed to possess the color of the Supreme King, which she developed when she was just a child. Yamato seems to know exactly what Conqueror's Haki is and how to use it, as she uses it to battle Kaido atop the roof of Onigashima. And she didn't just fight him once, no, she fought him a numerous amount of times, which is quite impressive. After all, Kaido is known as the strongest creature in the world. I'm going to go ahead and place Yamato in the D tier. The Empress of the Sea, Big Mom. Now Big Mom possesses complete mastery over Conqueror's Haki, which would sort of be expected considering that she is one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea. She was even using it at Pudding's wedding, when she just up and knocked someone out for questioning her relationship with Mother Caramel. And when Mother Caramel's portrait was destroyed, she unleashed a huge blast of Conqueror's Haki, which immediately knocked out most of the guests entirely. So yeah, her Haki is not to be messed with. When she fought Kaido in the land of Wano, their Conqueror's clash was so intense that it split the heavens. Big Mom also possesses the ability to infuse her Conqueror's Haki directly into herself, further increasing her attack power, and for that reason Big Mom definitely deserves her place in the A tier. Monkey D. Garp, the hero of the Navy. Garp was the only Marine who was even capable of fighting Roger. So without a question, Garp is not someone you want to run into if you're a pirate. Garp has been confirmed to possess advanced Conqueror's Haki, which I think you're gonna have to need when facing the king of the pirates himself. Even though Garp's prime days are far behind him, by no means has he grown decrepit in any way at all. In fact, this man waltzed straight onto Pirate Island, the home of the Emperor of the Sea Blackbeard himself, to rescue Kobe. Garp then proceeded to almost destroy the entire island with a single punch, and then fight the former Admiral Kuzan along with all the remaining Blackbeard commanders on the island. He even managed to throw San Juan Wolf, who is 590 feet tall, into the ocean. And he did all of this at 78 years old, which if you ask me is absolutely ridiculous. But ultimately Garp was defeated, but even so, definitely deserves his place in God tier. Up next is the heavenly demon himself, Don Quixote DOFLAMINGO. DOFLAMINGO is a character we met back on Dressrosa, and he is strong. DOFLAMINGO basically ran the entire black market as he distributed weapons, ammunition, and even devil fruits to the entire world. And of course he possesses Conqueror's Haki, along with both observation and armament Haki. Dofi was able to use his Conqueror's Haki to clash with Monkey D. Luffy, and the clash was so intense, it spread throughout the entire city. DOFLAMINGO seems to have an excellent understanding of not just Conqueror's Haki, but Haki in general, as he fights using all 3 types of Haki simultaneously. DOFLAMINGO first used his Conqueror's Haki when he was just 10 years old, and ever since then, his Haki has kept growing stronger and stronger. But unfortunately, it's not confirmed that DOFLAMINGO possesses any advanced types of Conqueror's Haki, but maybe he will break out of Impel Down and come back. We never really know what Oda is planning. I'm going to go and place DOFLAMINGO in the D tier. Kozuki Odin. Odin was a legendary samurai who was the shogun of the land of Wano, and unlike most rulers, Odin fights his own battles, and man is he strong. Odin possesses some freakishly and honestly inhuman levels of strength, and when you pair that with his use and understanding of Conqueror's Haki, Oda turns into a samurai you do not want to run into. Odin was so strong that he ended up sailing with both Whitebeard and the King of the Pirates, with both crews growing a tremendous amount of respect for him. He even fought the King of the Beasts Kaido and was about to win, if they hadn't had to resort to tricking him. And for that reason alone, Odin definitely deserves his place in the A tier. The Pirate Empress Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock is the ruler of Amazon Lily and is the captain of the Kuja pirates. She, along with everyone else on this list, possesses the color of the Supreme King and seems to have a pretty good understanding of it, and Haki in general, as she possesses both armament and observation Haki. As Boa possesses all three types of Haki, she is very strong. So strong that the Navy offered her a place amongst the 7 warlords of the sea and even gave her a bounty of over 1.5 billion berries. But unfortunately, she doesn't really use her Conqueror's Haki in the show. In fact, after doing some research, I couldn't find a time, well, when she used it at all. You would think she would have used it against Blackbeard, but it appears that she didn't, which honestly I find kinda weird, as she's definitely aware she has it and definitely knows what it is. But despite all of that, I'm going to go ahead and place Boa in D tier. Last up is Redhaired Shanks, one of the 4 emperors of the sea and the killer of observation Haki. Now Shanks grew up aboard the Oro Jackson and was raised by Goldie Roger and his crew. So Shanks of course possesses insane mastery over all 3 types of Haki, and his Conqueror's Haki is considered to be the strongest in the entire show. As it's so strong, he can use it to negate other people's observation Haki, making it so not a soul can see him coming, which just has to be the craziest ability in the show. Shanks went on to become so strong that he even started using the attacks of Goldie Roger himself. The move Roger used to one-shot Odin, Divine Departure, Shanks used himself on Kid and one-shot him as well, which is crazy because Kid also possesses Conqueror's Haki. Shanks even fought the strongest swordsman in the world, Hawkeye Mihawk, to a standstill, as it's still sort of unclear who exactly won that battle. He even managed to stop Kaido going to Marineford, who also possesses insane mastery over Conqueror's Haki. I just don't think anyone can even contend with Shanks in a fair fight. The guy is just too strong, and we haven't even really seen him fight properly yet. So that's exactly why I'm placing Shanks in God tier and labeling him the strongest Conqueror's Haki user in One Piece.